Hello, fellow readers. I'm back again with another review. This time, the Ben 10 comic. This is a very biased review because I grew up watching Ben 10. So you can imagine my excitement when I heard that there was going to be a comic book series. I was like, yes, finally. Because the original series had a comic book thing going on, and like one of the episodes was like a what was I can't remember the title, but it was one of the what if scenarios of like when summer ended and how Ben would be at like home with the Omnitrix and all that. And I was like, that episode began with Ben, like with it opening up in comic book format. So like there was a heavy comic book feel to the Ben 10 series. So when I heard that they were getting an actual comic book series, um, at least this is the first time I heard of a Ben 10 comic book series, so I was like, yes, I need to try it out. I need to read this and see how I like it, even if it is just one volume. And while at first I wasn't a big fan, honestly, I'm not a big fan of the art style. It's fine, it's not that big of a deal. It wasn't like a deal breaker art style, honestly. When I saw the cover and I saw Cannonbolt staring off into space like he didn't know what was going on, I was like, okay, um, yeah, that's definitely. Or when why is Diamond Head shirtless? No. So I was kind of, but this is a very biased review, and I hated the comic. I'm just gonna be straight up. I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't like any of what was going on. They ruined all the characters, in my opinion. The the dynamics are just not there, and it just didn't feel like Ben 10. It felt like somebody writing really bad fan fiction about Ben 10, which is disappointing. What I'm gonna say, because so here's the thing, right? The first episode, right. It starts off with Ben in school, and like it kind of like that first scene before the intro and all that explains everything you need to know about the characters before they even get to the campsite, because the comic opens up with the campsite. Well, not with the campsite, it opens up with the Vilgax, but like then it goes straight to the campsite, right? So I was like, okay, um there was a reason behind showing off Ben and the others before they went to the campsite. And well, you okay, take it away, but you still have to show the dynamic properly between the three main characters, Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa Max. That was all introduced before they were in the campsite. Through Ben getting in the camper van and how Grandpa Max interacted with Ben and Gwen, and how Ben and Gwen interacted with each other, and vice versa. One of the biggest things is that in the comics, for some reason, they decide to make Grandpa Max kind of low-key hate everyone, like all of his grandchildren, and how he, like, was like, I did this only because I was forced to kind of energy, which that is not Grandpa Max. That is not how Grandpa Max acts. I'm sorry. That's no. Cuz he literally goes, I promised both your parents that I'd show you kids the America you can't fully experience on screens. I'm like, that's not Grandpa Max. He did not do the camper trip just because of a promise to the parents. It's actually stated by Ben that it is something Grandpa Max and him have been doing for years. And you're taking that away and making it all about, like, I don't want to actually take the grandkids out. Grandpa Max loves his grandkids. Ben loves his grandfather and has been going on these camping trips basically every summer since he was young. And then you're coming in here and taking that away, and it's like, what? No. because Ben, and the reason why Ben was upset that Gwen was going was because he considered it him and Grandpa Max's thing, not him, Grandpa Max, and Gwen's thing. So he was only really upset with Gwen because he didn't expect Gwen to be there. He wasn't told that Gwen was going until he got in the camper van, saw her, and he literally goes, "What is she doing here?" And Gwen literally goes, "Well, I wasn't the one that told my parents about this. It was actually Grandpa Max's idea." And Grandpa Max is like, "Well, I just want to take my grandkids on a trip. Like, I want to spend time with both of you, so I'm going to take both of you this year." And that's what causes them to be fighting because Gwen didn't want to go on the trip. Ben wants to be on the trip. And Grandpa Max wants to spend time with both of them, and this is the compromise he came up with. Why did the comic take that away? Also, what is up with the design of Grandpa Max looking the way he does? That isn't Grandpa Max at all. I'm sorry, but that was not a design I liked. Again, it's like the art isn't a killer. It's just the fact that they did not care about any of the characters here. They tried to they because here's the thing. Like I get wanting to try and get new younger audiences into reading and wanting to encourage that reading. But the way you go about it is definitely like I feel like that's just not how you should be doing it. Especially with just throwing in random internet slang. It's just I feel like that's such a because why am I sitting here reading about this like a bunch of like slang that honestly from what I've heard, and when I'm on the internet, a lot of people say they drop books that have too much modern slang unless it's like a fan fiction, because it's a fan fiction. An actual published stuff that uses slang is kind of like apparent, like icky to a lot of people, so they don't read it. And it's like, okay, okay. Um, and personally, I wasn't expecting it either because Ben is so the show released in 2005. So that means Ben, who is 10 years old, is like a kid that was born in 19. I'm not good at math at all, so I'm gonna take a guess and say like 1990 something. Point is, he's not. His slang would be different than modern day slang because that's the period of time he was born in, and so and the reason why this is such an issue is because I honestly thought this comic was just like an actual comic version of the series, like an actual hey, we just took the TV series and made it into a comic book series because it's based off a comic book series. And that's what I thought going into this. Instead, I get, yeah, no, we're gonna just toss away everything and remake it into what we think should have been the Ben 10 series. Like, because another point of tension for me, at least, is the military. Don't get me wrong, I totally get the whole, like, I don't mind the interactions with the military in the military track because that actually kind of is realistic, even though the show is about it. Like, this show is supposed to be unrealistic to a certain degree, right? But I get it. Have your military. What I don't get is why I have to have random military person A and random military person B, C, and D when there is a complete character in the Ben 10 series that we could have had you could have had and fleshed out more because he only gets like 3 episodes at max instead of just some no names, because there was a literal squad in the show with a commander like named lieutenant, not a commander but like Lieutenant Steele. He exists. Why aren't you using him? He literally runs a squad dedicated to hunting down aliens and extraterrestrial stuff and dealing with that stuff. Why is it just some no name military people? Like, you could have just put Lieutenant Steele in and I would have been fine. Lieutenant Steele is not here. Like, there was a character right there. Sorry, I'm flipping through it really aggressively. Also, just the mischaracterization of Ben and Gwen both. Let me focus on Ben, right? They make him into a coward and somebody who is like constantly worried about like a bunch of weird stuff, when in actuality, yes, Ben gets self-conscious of what people think of him, but Ben has always been heroic and impulsive. So why is it that he isn't jumping down into that little hole to get the watch because he thought it was cool? Why is it having to leap up onto him all the way from the hole? Oh, like that. He did freak out in the original TV show when it did jump up on him, but he quickly like, whoa, that's cool, and kind of just didn't care after transforming for the first time. Also, why is there a robotic bear? I what? And why did he just instantly say Freddy Fazbear? Also, a lot of shots. Gonna be honest, a lot of shots in the. This goes back to the art. Again, I don't hate the art style. It's okay, but some shots just look awful, especially since a lot of the time Forearms looks like somebody like they were using a PNG image to trace over. Basically, it felt like, not saying that they are, it's just a lot of the posing was really really weird and flat, especially in the head area. Like, the head did not feel. Um, but yeah, no, I just like, I was disappointed in this. I was so excited, and then I was disappointed, and then I was just, what is this? This doesn't, like, I. This is my childhood, and it feels like it's been ruined because I grew up watching this stuff, and it was my favorite series. I love this series, and I was excited when I saw that they were doing a comic. And then I read it, and it's like the characters are nothing like their in-show variants. They don't act like the characters I know and love. Grandpa Max is just not Grandpa Max. We jokingly call him misname him. It's like, no, that's just like Mad and Grandpa Mad or something, because he doesn't smile once throughout the comic. Majority of the Grandpa Maxes, he is very cheerful of a dude, and he loves his grandkids, and it gave off, oh, I'm stuck with them. Even though in the show and all that, he would do anything for his grandkids. And I didn't like that. And then Ben just constantly going, oh no, and just, like, when Ben was like, whoa, like, he panicked, but then he was like, whoa, this is actually really cool. And it's like, yeah, no, that's a 10-year-old boy. They would not care. It's just, I wanted something more from this, and it didn't give me that. It gave me the exact opposite. And Nothing about it just was satisfying or great to read. I was just frustrated and angry the entire time, and this is only one volume, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna read anymore. This is not my Ben 10. I can't read something that I that feels not like the show I loved growing up. But that's about it with this comic and what I have to say about it. There's not much else. Bye.